Are you a repeat applicant trying to figure out why you didn't match? Are you a new applicant trying to make sure that you avoid all the different pitfalls that other people that didn't match did? You came to the right video. In this video, we're going to be talking about the top reasons why IMGs do not match. 3 years I spent applying to the match. My third time was a charm. I ended up matching my third time. But it was a rough process. And along the way, I learned a lot of things. And I noticed some things that I was doing that other people didn't do. And I noticed those same things in other people that ended up matching. What's up, guys? My name is Dr. Safo Asante. I'm the successful IMG, successful because I matched, and I'm here so that you can as well. This video is divided into 2 sections. First section, I'm just going to be talking about what I think about the match process as a whole. And then the second part, I'm going to give you the top reasons that I think IMGs don't match. Now, if you're interested in whichever part, you can just jump around because I'm going to put the timestamp down below. So if you want to skip ahead, that's fine as well. In the match of 2020, about 10,000 people didn't match out of the 44,000 people that registered for the match. Does it mean that all 10,000 people that applied for the match or all the 10,000 people that didn't match will not be good physicians? That's not the case. Of course, some of them will have a difficult time in residency, and that's why they weed it out, which is a fact. But there are a lot of people that don't match that will be good physicians, in my opinion. Unfortunately, because there are not enough positions available, right? I told you there are about 44,000 people that registered for the match of 2020. Only about 35,000 people matched into positions. So there's a limited amount of spots. Because it's so competitive, programs have to put up specific selection criteria so that they can get the best applicants for their residency programs that will succeed in their residency programs. As far as they can tell, because they are not in your head and they have not been with you all your life, so they don't know you as a person, so they do the best that they can with the resources that they have. So these selection criteria, these due to trying to weed out the ones that will not be good enough, and the limited number of spots end up marginalizing some people that would end up being good doctors if they ended up matching. But unfortunately, they got weeded out because of the selection criteria. Now, I don't have anything against the selection criteria. I think the selection criteria helps them pick the best applicants for themselves out there. But I just want you to know that if you didn't match, it doesn't mean that you'll be a bad doctor. It just means that either one, you got filtered out because of selection criteria. 2, they're just better applicants than you. And unfortunately, there are not enough spots to accommodate everybody that will be a good doctor. And that's what it boils down to. So to increase your chances of matching, you have to jump through some hoops, the different hoops that programs have set out for you due to their selection criteria. And if you don't jump through these hoops, you end up getting filtered out. I have spoken about who the best applicant is. I'm going to put the video link down below. If you're interested, just take a look at that. And that's the applicant the programs look for. Applicants like this end up doing well in their programs. Each program has extra things that they also look into as well. Now, some of the things you don't know, but that's why I'm here, right? with my videos, with my coaching, with my interview prep. I'm here to help you guys match. So currently I have some interview prep slots available. I also have some slots also available for my mentorship program where I guide you through the match personally and give you some tips and tricks to help you match either this match or the next match. So if you're interested, just email me at the email down below, or just go onto my Instagram page, add me, follow me on Instagram, and shoot me an email, shoot me a DM on my Instagram. The number one reason that people don't match into residency is dun, 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 they don't hit the like button on my videos. I know, right? Does that make any sense to you? It doesn't to me. But anyway, hit the like button, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. This way, anytime I release new videos, you'll be updated instantly. And you want to be on top of my videos because they're going to give you awesome information that will help you hopefully match into residency, or at least put you in a better footing than you were before. And you help me beat the YouTube algorithm, which is what it's all about. But moving right along, the real number one thing is low step scores and and failures in the step. A lot of people that ended up failing the step have a hard time matching, and people that have low step scores as well have a difficult time matching. This is not saying that they don't match, but if your scores are low, you have to be a little bit more strategic when it comes to applying for residency spots. If you're applying to a specialty where your scores are way out of the range where you need to be in order to apply, you're probably wasting your time. If you're applying to a program that accepts people that only get 240s, 230s, and you have a 206, you're wasting your time. It's best to, one, make sure that you have great scores so you don't have to deal with this in the first place. So the earlier you watch this video, the better it is for you. But if you're applying right now and you already have your step score and there's nothing you can do about your step score, that's fine. Just make sure that you make your own list of IMG friendly programs that will deal with your step scores. This way you don't get yourself weeded out. So you have to put in the work. The next reason that IMG still match into residency is drive. They don't put in enough effort. Now, this is my thought on the process. If you don't have any red flags, you're a perfect applicant, you have great step scores, you have great LORs, and the other things that make you a very good applicant, that make you the best applicant for a residency program. I talked about it in another video. I'm going to put the link down below, so just check out that video if you want to know more about that. But if you're a perfect applicant, you don't have to put in as much effort as somebody who has red flags or has things that draw away from the application to some extent. Theodore Roosevelt had a quote, and paraphrasing it because I don't remember the exact quote, is success is from effort. Effort either done now or in the past. So if you're in medical school, you didn't get the best grades. If you took your steps, you didn't get the best step scores, or you failed a step, you will have to put in a lot more effort at that point in time when you're applying for the residency match, or from the time that you're applying. And versus if you're the perfect applicant, you don't have to put in as much effort. You have to put in effort because you're still competing against other people, so you can get the specialty that you want, the programs that you want, but you don't have to put in as much effort as somebody who has red flags in the application. You have to be aware of that. Now, for the people that have red flags on the application that didn't match the first time, what I noticed is that the ones that end up matching, they have this drive, this monstrous desire to match, and they will do anything. They would do observerships where they will go out of the way, email tons and tons of programs just so they can get one observership spot, a couple of observership spots. When they get observership spots, they work their butts off to make sure that they do very well in that observership. They make connections so that they can end up getting good letters of recommendation and if possible, get a leg into whatever residency program it is that they're trying to get into. But they put in a lot of effort. Like going through success stories, my friends, myself, and things that I see online, like just reading them, just hearing them, you sense that drive that that person has. And then when you speak to people that didn't match, you kind of sense that there's part of that drive which is missing. And this is not saying anything about their ability to be good doctors. Nothing like that. Like I said, there's not enough spots for everyone. So they take out a certain group of people that they think will be good doctors. Okay? So drive. You gotta have a certain amount of drive if you're trying to match, depending on your whether you're a perfect applicant. Like I told you, the link is down below if you want to know who the perfect applicant is, or if you have any red flags. Like I said, it's possible to match with red flags, but you just have to put in a lot more effort. The next reason that people don't match into residency is they take advice from the wrong people. Anytime you want to take advice, you want to take advice from somebody that has what it is that you're trying to get, because that person has figured out a way personally to get from point A to point B, which is where you want to get to, right? You don't want to get advice from somebody that could not get from point A to point B. That's not saying that all the advice that people that don't match is not going to be good advice. Sure, they can give you advice about certain things, which is okay, but there's a reason why they didn't match, right? It might be their score, and then they couldn't overcome it somehow through their application, through the interviews, or whichever way. You want to get advice from people they were in shoes similar to yours and were able to achieve success while they were in your shoes. The first time I applied, basically applied, just applied to myself. The second time I applied, I got some advice. Third time I applied, I got my friends that had matched, and I quizzed them. They helped me with interviews. They helped me with a bunch of stuff, right? And this time around, I was a lot better prepared, and I had a way set in front of me. Of course, I modified it to suit myself, of course, but I had a way that helped me become successful in matching, and which is what you want to do. You want to make sure that you speak to people who've done what you want to do whilst they were in similar shoes. And if they were in similar shoes to yours, modify what they say a little bit so that it adjusts to where you are, so that it can help you succeed. Okay, so how do you do this? Friends that are matched, okay? People that you know that are matched, even if they're not your friends, make them your friends. And then you have people that help you out on the internet. I help you with mentorship. I help you with interview prep. And I also make free videos that give you bits and pieces of information that hopefully help you match. Another reason that people don't match is because they either don't make a good residency program list that they're going to apply to, or they take somebody else's residency program list that fits that person's criteria but doesn't fit your criteria necessarily. And even if it fits your criteria, by taking somebody else's program list, you are increasing the competition because it's already two of you. And if he gives it to somebody else, that's three of you applying to the same programs. Now, imagine if that person has better credentials than you, is better at interviewing than you, has a better application than you, has a better personal statement than you, has a better CV than you. You're weeding yourself out by applying to the same exact places. So by not making your own residency program list, you're shooting yourself in the foot. So this is one of the reasons why some people don't match. They don't make an IMG friendly residency program list that they can apply to that fits their criteria, that fits their their characteristics, their scores, their fits, their visa status, and so on and so forth. So this is all effort that you have to put in. Remember before I said you succeed based on the effort that you put in, whether you put it in the past or you put it in the future. This is one of the areas where you need to put in the effort. You got to put in the effort to make your own list. If you have a difficult time making your own list, I've made a video on how you can make your own list. The link is down below. Video's simple. Just follow the steps and make your own list. It's very straightforward. There's no need to take somebody else's residency list and compete for it. Now, I think it's a wonderful thing. It's very humane. It's very nice of other people to share their residency program list with others. But if your scores are not 250s, 260s, and you're having a hard time matching, why are you sharing the same list with somebody else? Somebody who's going to bump you out of the running. Another reason that people don't match into residency is because they have not fully educated themselves on their application process. They have not fully educated themselves on what makes a good personal statement. They haven't fully educated themselves on what makes a good ERAS application. Fully educated themselves on what kinds of things that you can put in your CV that would make your CV great. They haven't fully educated themselves on the timeline of the application process. I personally was guilty of this when I applied the very first time when I applied. I applied late. I applied late because my Step 2 CS score came back late. But had I done my research, I would have known that I could have applied a little bit earlier and submitted my Step 2 CS score when it came in. But I didn't do that. I applied very late and I didn't get interviews and I ended up not matching. For others, like take personal statements for instance. If you went to school in the US, you've written a lot of personal statements when you're applying for undergrad. If you're medical school, you probably wrote a personal statement if you applied for medical school here at least. Or if you applied to some graduate school program, you wrote a personal statement for that as well. But people that are not from the US, people that went to school outside of the US, don't really use personal statements as much, so they're not really well versed with personal statements. Personal statements are important, and they can give an application a view as to who you really are and maybe help you get a leg up on others. That's not saying that it's one of the top things, but it's at least one of the things that can help your application, right? If you're interested in how to write a great personal statement, I'm going to put my personal statement video links down below. Just watch them and improve your personal statement. All right. So that's one of the reasons why some people don't match. They don't do the research that they need to do. They don't fully educate themselves on the match process and everything that it entails. And you should. Don't take the easy way out, especially if you have red flags. Now, if you have a 273 in your step 1, 265 in your step 2, your step 2 CK, then yeah, sure. I mean, if you miss out on a few things, you don't fully educate yourself on certain things, yeah, that's your problem, right? But my advice is always try to fully educate yourself. So what's the last reason that people don't match, IMGs don't match into residencies? So we've talked about a whole bunch of other things. Now, let's say you did everything correct, okay? Now you have an interview, and you bombed the interview, right? And that's the next reason why people don't match. They don't do well in the interviews. They don't practice the interviews. They don't know what the answers are to the interviews. Now, this is not saying that they're answers that are canned, as in answers that everybody uses. No. But there's a way to answer these interview questions because each question has a specific thing that it's trying to get from you. And if you're not good at interviews, there's some people that are good at interviews. When I was applying, I was lucky to have a good friend that was great at interviews. And he was with me. He explained what the programs wanted from me with each interview question, right? So I took that knowledge and I practiced with him. And I also did my own research on what they want from specific questions in addition to that. And I studied that really hard. And I went and I was a monster in my interviews. I was a monster. So I applied to a whole bunch of programs, right? And I had 5 interviews. Of those 5 interviews, there's only one interviewer who did not express interest in me during the interview. And this is not one of those wishy-washy, oh yeah, you're a good applicant, blah, blah, right? Not one of those wishy-washy, you're a good applicant. This was one of those, don't worry, you will match here. We will rank you. Oh, and then you get an email. We are reimbursing people that we like, people that applicants that we really liked. So I got my airfare reimbursed, I got my hotel room reimbursed, and during the application process, I spoke to somebody else that also interviewed at the same place. He didn't get that treatment, right? And I can tell you this was different from the other 2 times that I applied. Well, first time I didn't really get interviews except for in the soul. Then the second time I got interviews, but I didn't get this kind of response. I know the feeling of having done well in interviews. Now, looking at how I applied for a residency and how I did my interviews, when I was in my residency program, I was lucky enough to partake in the interview process at some point. The interview for a couple of days, not a lot, for a couple of days, right? I wasn't on the interview committee, but for a couple of days, I was a part of the interview process. I interviewed, we discussed the applicants, took them around, found out what the residents thought, and gave your opinion, right? You gave your thoughts on that, right? So I was involved in the interview process for a couple of days. Now, those couple of days, what did I see? People sucked at interviews. They sucked, right? But they had great scores. To give yourself a leg up, if you do well in your interview, you shoot yourself above people that have step scores, especially if your program is open-minded. Now, if the program is not open-minded and the program wants people would have the highest, the craziest scores, then there's nothing you can do about that. But there's some programs that look at the fit of the resident to the fit of the applicant to the other residents in the program currently through the interviews. If you do well in your interviews in those programs, you will match. And a lot of people just don't do well in interviews either because they don't prepare, they don't know what the programs want from each interview question. They just don't put in that kind of effort that they need. Why would you put in all the effort that you have up until this point and then don't put in the kind of effort that you need at the end? That's just silly to me. When you hear stories like somebody who got 12 interviews and it didn't match, that's just silly. Like what happened? What went wrong? Like you need to find somebody that knows his way around interviews. So where do you find these people? Friends who matched, right? That are good at interviews. Okay, there's some people that match, they're not good at interviews, they just have great scores, right? But find friends that match that are good at interviews. People that you don't know that matched, that are good at interviews. Ask them, maybe they can help you. You know, maybe they went to the same school as you. Ask them, maybe they were willing to help you. Maybe, not saying they would, and if they don't, it doesn't mean that they're bad, because it's a favor to you. So there you have it, folks. Those are the top reasons why IMGs don't match into residency. I hope the video helped you. If you liked the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button. If you like the videos that I've been making, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know through my Instagram. Let me know through the email address that's down below. Stay tuned. My next video is going to come out next Thursday, 10 o'clock in the morning, as always. Best of luck in this application match. I wish you guys all the best. I've been there. I know what it's like to not make it if you haven't made it. And I know what it's like to clinch the position that you want. Now, I hope that you guys are able to clinch the position that you want. Dr. Safwa Asante, out.